VertForce listener, Boldly is a premium subscription staffing company who is hyper military spouse friendly. Their services are constantly in demand. They have a wait list for clients they can service. So they're hiring at least 5 new team members every month. They're W-2, part-time, you earn paid time off. Don't you want to work for an organization like this? So what's the catch? Well, their application process isn't exactly easy or what you would expect. But I don't want you to get discouraged or not apply because you're already self-eliminating or counting yourself out. So that's why we're having this conversation with Boldly recruitment manager and military spouse advocate, Devin Drake. We're going to help you better understand how to get #hired at Boldly.
So when you think about Boldly getting through the front doors, I want you to think of it as sort of like a 3-step process to get to an interview. We're looking at your application, we're looking at your LinkedIn, and we're looking at your resume in that order. So your application comes through, and if you meet our basic requirements, then we check your LinkedIn. So it is super important that your LinkedIn is updated. If your LinkedIn is, we can tell you just started it and you have no information there, then we're not going to be able to move forward because it is a pre-screening tool for us. Just make sure that you have your work history on there and make sure that it mirrors what's on your resume. Other mistakes I see are incorrect information or spelling things incorrectly. I actually have a long list of different ways that people have spelled Boldly. And it's not just that, but attention to detail is really big in our world because when you look at Boldly, there's many different types of organizations who do what we do, but we are the premium service that does what we do. So because we are the premium, we have to be the best of the best, and we hire the best, and that means that we need you to pay attention to detail. So double check the application. If it's 6 p.m. and you're tired and you're hungry and this is your 20th application you've submitted for the day, you probably shouldn't submit your application right away. Wait till the next day when you are well rested. Give it a second look. Make sure that you haven't misspelled anything because that can go a really long way in getting you move forward. And don't forget to leave off the experience that you did or the skills that you learned while you're in that job. So this is another piece where I think Boldly tends to be a little unique in that you go maybe to a career advisor, they're going to tell you on your resume to put overall highlights, like I saved the company $1 million by inventing this system or something like that. But we want to know all of the things that you did during the day. Did you do email management? Did you do scheduling? Did you do calendar management? Did you order office supplies? Did you do travel planning? Like all of those basic things. We need to see that on there. So make sure that when you are looking at the bigger picture that you're not leaving off those really, really important pieces on your resume. But gaps are not a big deal for us. What is a big deal is when we see people who have multiple positions for less than a year, because then it shows that the longevity isn't there. So that's really important. For military spouses, we completely understand that you guys, we move around a lot. We get it. We understand that and really a year or anything longer than a year is fine. But what I'm talking about is when you just get to a new duty station and you feel like you can't have a gap in your resume. So you take the first thing you can get, knowing good and well that as soon as something better comes along, you're going to leave this job. And so you're only with that job for a short period of time, and then that's on your resume.
The last thing I want to say is recapping what I love about your process and what's so unique is you do application first. Then if they get through that, you'll look at their LinkedIn.
Yes.
If the LinkedIn is up to par, then you'll look at their resume, right?
Yes.
I just think it's interesting, and it's important for our candidates to understand that and know how important your company application is, because I know I'm guilty of flying through applications just because I know it's not going to get looked at. I know that all they really want to see is my resume. So, it's very clear and it's very easy to make mistakes on an application. But I think it's important for the community to understand that you can't make mistakes on the Boldly app. You have to have your LinkedIn ready to go. And your resume also has to be sublime.
Right. And I mean, I've been there too, where I've had like my answers sort of on a document where I just copy and paste them and put them over.
Yeah.
But then I started working on this side of things, and I see what a difference it makes to really just take the time to tailor it, because that extra 30 minutes or an hour could be the difference in you getting through the door and being overlooked. Another recommendation is to show why you want to work for the company that you're applying for. So if you're applying for Boldly and you're filling out the application, are you mentioning Boldly in the answers? Are you mentioning why you want to work for us? Or is it just, simple one-liners? Are you explaining yourself, or are you just talking simply what the benefit is for you, or are you sharing what the benefit is for you and the company? Another thing that I see people do a lot are in their application form, they don't really say why they want to work remotely. All of the things that you have been taught that to hide are actually really huge assets in the remote space, because to us, it means you have a reason for needing to work remote, and you're not going to leave us to go back to work into the office, right? So military spouses, moms, caregivers, anybody who has a need to really work remote, put that in there. And in our application, we actually have a drop down where you can select your military spouse. And we look at every single military spouse who applies to join Boldly, because we find that military spouses make the best candidates. They have all of these soft skills that are really difficult to teach. We just are sort of ingrained with them. All of the moves that we've had to do and putting up with everything within the military life, we're flexible and adaptable. And I'm sure you've talked about this with your audience many times. So being a military spouse in the Boldly space is a huge asset.